Good evening and welcome to the show, or if you're watching the Saturday repeat, hello again. In news this week, in Hong Kong, it's announced that Chris Patten is to stay on as governor for another year. Despite recent claims that he's been sighted in Ireland, Shergar is finally found on a housing estate in Bradford. And in his latest guide, Egon Ronay complains that standards of service in Britain's motorway cafeterias is getting noticeably worse. On Ian Hislop's team, a comedian who lists among his pet hates twiglets and celery, so he's already in a bad mood after an hour in BBC hospitality, Nick Hancock. And with Paul Merton tonight, a man who has lived through a terrible crisis and survived to tell the tale. He was once the goalkeeper for Hereford United, David Icke. So now we know each other, let's get on with round one. Paul and David, just your luck to get this one.
Well, this is the launch of the latest form of taxation in Britain, the National Lottery. There's Kenneth Clarke in the Cabinet as part of the entertainment, and there's the... your chance to become a Prime Minister.
Yeah. Yes, it is. It's the lottery. Have you bought your ticket?
No.
So you're not going to watch the show when it goes out tomorrow night?
Well, he's not going to watch it. He already knows who's won, don't you? Well, it's not me, because I haven't bought a ticket. And I don't want to watch Noli.
Noli Edmondsey, you mean?
Yes, Angusy. Don't think it won't be you in a couple of years.
Anglesey a small island?
Yeah. Just off Wales, isn't it?
Off Wales, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going to become a small island just off Wales in a couple of years?
Apparently.
You'll be on the shopping channel in a couple of years, Angus.
I'm looking forward to
You'd
it.
want to buy him, though.
Experts say that with the odds of winning the jackpot at 14 million to 1, anyone buying a lottery ticket this week is more likely to be hit by a car. You thought the organisers would warn everyone about that. Today's newspaper has been offering its readers tips on how to win the lottery. Tip 1, you have got to be in it to win it. So a handy hint for all those who assume they'd win the jackpot by sitting in an armchair. Ian and Nick, the best of British.
Douglas said moonlighting as a male escort. That's where Doctor Who's always filmed. Yeah, that's Gary Newman. That's the World Formation Waving Team.
He was found guilty in court this week of illegally giving all this money, which should have been given to aid, to various Malaysian businessmen to build this dam. And they said, you're guilty. And he said, I thought about resigning. But then he thought, well, if I resign, then I won't have my job anymore. So he didn't. So he's still Foreign Secretary, in charge of sleeves.
It's a lot more widespread than you think, because they wouldn't let my mum have her flu jab till she bought a Chieftain tank, apparently.
Have you any idea what the aeroplanes were?
The Malaysians were going to buy these Hawk jets if we gave the money for the dam. It's sort of different from the old days, because British planes used to bomb dams. But nowadays we build the dam and sell them the planes, and
They can bomb it themselves.
£2 billion of taxpayers' money is gifted to the arms industry every year. This makes Britain the 4th largest arms exporter in the world, so even when it comes to killing people, we just miss out on the medals. Paul and David, some sporting behaviour for you.
This is Damon Hill, testing the latest Williams. And this is Michael Schumacher testing something else that looks a lot more interesting, I've got to tell you.
What, the dog?
Keystone Cops. That's a clip from a 1925 Max Sennett film. That's Billy Bovan just falling out of the car.
I was forgetting about your speciality.
I noticed that whenever in a car crash, people always do that. They come out, they stagger around, and their eyes go crossed like that. So it's very natural behaviour what you did there. You got then the police have got loads of film of people having crashes on the M1, coming staggering out cars and falling over.
And stars coming out of their heads.
Well, that would be ridiculous.
No. Yes, the story was...
Well, Billy Bovan started off... he was an Australian comic, and when talkies came in, he sort of specialised, although he was Australian, he specialised in Cockney sort of grave diggers and stuff. He's always in the back of sort of things like Bride of Frankenstein. Saying, I don't believe it, look at the size of it. And in Hollywood, they thought that was Cockney.
Well, thankfully, that's all we've got time for.
Damon Hill, Michael Schumacher crashed into Damon Hill, thereby meaning that Michael Schumacher won the Grand Prix championships, because if Damon Hill had carried on and got ahead of him, he would have got the extra point he needed to win the whole contest in the championship.
Did he cheat, though?
It was all planned beforehand.
Planned beforehand?
You'd be the man to know, wouldn't you? Bounce the car off that wall, come back, get in the way, half turn his car over, hit a wall, just damage Damon's car enough to stop him finishing the race. Fantastic, it wasn't. It worked perfectly.
Do you think it was, do you think they should have an investigation?
You trying to entice people into libel, Angus?
Works with you every time.
I don't need enticing.
I think they should have an investigation. It should be chaired by Barbara Cartland. Just to see if she could work it out. You mean you drive that fast?
You daring young men.
Yes.
Why does Barbara Cartland put Tipp-Ex on her face, then? There isn't an answer. I just
Cover up the mistakes.
This isn't the first time Schumacher has been in trouble. In Belgium, he was disqualified when his car was found to have an oversized wooden plank attached to it, or Nigel Mansell, as it later came. Ian and Nick, more government filth for you.
John Selwyn Gummer. And that's his speech. There's a bridge. Ah, Gummer again. This is another story about filth. About sewage in Hull. And Gummer has redefined Hull as a seaside resort. Because under the EC rules it means that they no longer have to build a sewerage works. So they save all the money. And Yorkshire Water no longer has to build this sewerage works. And one of the directors of Yorkshire Water is a Tory MP, which is lucky. Coincidental. 14 million to 1, you would think.
You can't move in Hull for people with lilos under their arms. You know. The shopping centre is full of them, all the ones shaped like animals for the younger kids.
They're not lilos.
No, I know. That's why I distinguish between lilos and the ones shaped like animals for the younger kids. Yeah.
Gummer's fellow minister, Anne Widdecombe MP, claimed the decision was taken on advice from the National Rivers Authority, but the authorities said it acted at Mr Gummer's suggestion. One local has suggested throwing Gummer and Widdecombe into the Humber to experience it all at first hand. I suppose a couple more turds floating down the river won't make any difference. Which dirty dealings bring us floating to the surface of this unsavoury round, and the visible residue is that both teams are clinging to a solid 4. There'll be another round in a minute, as Boris Yeltsin would say, but first a sober reminder of our caption competition. Ian and Nick, you can have this. Paul and David, you this. And so to tonight's special round, which this week features the paranormal, although some of you no doubt knew I was going to say that. Each team will be shown a photograph of an unexplained phenomenon. Their mission is to study these unearthly manifestations and divulge their mystical origins. Paul and David.
Is it that a giant penis has been murdered and the police have found and have drawn a white line around it? Is it two skinheads being sick at the base of a post box?
Probably slightly closer, actually, but no. Any idea over here?
Is this the one outside, near Chequers?
Could be, Nick.
Well, all right then. It's near Chequers.
It is near Chequers.
Thank you. That's all I remember about it.
Oh, right.
And it's a 6-foot prick outside Chequers, it says. No surprise there.